created using Powtoon.
Hi, it's Jason Troy Medium. Thank you for watching another episode of Ask Jason. Now this question is about reincarnation. Now I've gotten a lot of people asking me these questions because basically what I've deduced here is I've done a lot of research on this. If you wanted to take a look at my website, I've got there's a book out there that I wrote. Put it on. It's you can get it on Amazon. It's called Ego Land. I actually wrote that book for my kids. So back in the day, I had an awakening process. I'll just give you a little bit of background on myself. I've been like this since I've been 3 years old, but as I grew up, I started to suppress this energy. My background, my religious background, I was born Catholic. My parents split up, and I had to live with my mother and my stepfather, and they became Pentecostal Christians. My mom is still a Pentecostal Christian pastor, so she does a lot of teaching, she does a lot of singing groups and so on, and so she's very heavily involved in that. I was actually brought up in that part of the religious aspects with the Pentecostal faith, and my aunt is a Jehovah's Witness. Now I have my own kids, and I can tell you this, my religious background, if you wanted to guess, is actually nothing. I don't have a belief system. I have concepts. I have pieces of truth. I can tell you this from all of the research that I've done and all of the bombardment that has happened within my lifetime to where I am now. I ended up getting my BA in Metaphysics and pushing through all of that. There are only pieces of truth here on this plane, on this dimension, and there are two pieces of BS, and what they do is they slap them together and they feed it to you, and what you have to do is discern what is right for you. Now, at the end of the day, I don't believe that anybody has the actual, this is what's happening. Now, the only thing that I can deduce from my experience is that the incarnation concept seems to be the most, I guess, valid based on hypnosis. Now, there's a lot of work with, I guess, the people on the internet. There's a lot of books out there that you can read. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a guy out there that did a lot of hypnosis work. He was actually an atheist, and he was recording, I think he did about 7,000 regressions, but he was recording a lot of these sessions, and he was actually recording a conversation that we were having before we entered the incarnation. Now, these are 7,000 different people. They don't know each other, and they were having very similar conversations, and the conversations were basically this. It was they were setting up the process or the life plan for what they were going to do within this lifetime. So they were saying, okay, I'm going to be the mother, I'm going to be the father, you're going to be the kid, I'm going to be the son, and at a certain point, I'm going to do this to you, or I'm going to create this type of abuse, or I'm going to, we're going to separate at a certain time so you can learn this lesson and that lesson, and I'm going to be a really bad guy because, you know, in the last lifetime, you were that person for me, and nobody wants to do that because I love you so much. I'm going to create that scenario for you. I'm going to play that character in this lifetime for you. So when you're going through trauma, or when you're going through different aspects within your relationships or within your experience, a lot of times the person that is the bad guy, the person that's inflicting a lot of that pain, is your greatest gift. They're the ones that are catapulting you into the next stage of your development, because you're here to develop your soul energy. You're developing the frequency to get to the next stage or the next notch, because you're not here to sit in front of a TV watching movies, playing on your iPad, playing on your phone, drinking beer. Everything on the dimension is to distract you from developing your progress as a soul. So basically, the incarnation cycle feels to me to be the most plausible one. Because even with the data that's already been accumulated, even though it is hypnosis and so on, that they were able to bring forward all of this information on having that conversation to be repeated 7,000 times. I don't know how that can happen, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that I do feel and I do believe that we are stuck in an incarnation loop. So there are energies around us that are playing in the ethers. These are energies that you can't see. Now, if you start to develop your psychic abilities and so on, you can see these energies, you can feel them. A lot of people are waking up now. There is a big awakening process that's happening. I was speaking to a lot of friends, and this is before the whole 2012 stuff. I was telling a lot of people there's an energy wave that's hitting. It's about 2010 to 2020, and there's going to be this frequency that's going to be shifting a lot of people and waking them up to these frequencies that are on the other side, that are actually playing with us. And they can't physically hurt you or move you, but what they can do is induce a thought pattern. And what they'll do is they're actually looking for mind share. And to me, this is a really serious game. We're actually in to me, it's a soul war. They're controlling the soul's incarnation, and they're keeping us stuck in a loop. So what they'll do is, and I can tell you this, you're not going to like what I'm going to say right now, is that there's even some out-of-body experiences stuff. You can research a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's things on the internet about near-death experiences, and there seems to be a pattern when someone does come out of the body, could even be on the table within surgery, they're always going to see a tunnel or a tunnel of light, and they're going to go towards that light. Now, a lot of times they're seeing frequencies or shapes or shadows of loved ones. Could be guides, could be, if you're very religious, you might see Jesus. If you're, you might see Buddha. Whatever your religion is, you're going to see an energy that's going to pull you towards the light. Now, my truth today is totally different from my truth back in 2003, 2005. It's shifting all the time. So I'm not saying what I'm giving you right now. All I'm trying to say is that this is not the truth, but it's where I've come to right now to this point, that if you see that light, if you exit out of the body, you see that light, what I'm telling you to do right now is to move away from that light. Do not go towards that light. That is where they're pulling everybody back into the incarnation to actually recycle for you to come back in. Now, there is a positive frequency here and a negative one. Now, I've already talked about this with the religious aspects. I was bombarded as a child with all the religions and so on. So a lot of people like to call it an angel or a demon or a lower frequency. It could be an ET, an entity, whatever it is. I don't like to give it labels. Basically, it's positive frequency here or negative. Now, the positive frequency here wants you to fulfill your divine mission and your divine plan. The negative one wants to suppress your energy, actually compact it so that you just sit in a neutral space and just sit in front of a TV and actually be entertained, or to suppress it so that you become depressed, that you're actually on alcohol, you're addicted to something, and you actually either take your own life and you exit so that they can bring you back in, so that they can feed off that frequency, because they're bringing you back in to pull from that lower chakra. So a lot of the people within the dimension now are operating on the first chakra, which is the fight or flight or the survival energy. So the frequencies that you want to be able to move into is more into the heart frequency, or is to get into the higher aspects so that you can access the energy and the information that you already have, because a lot of us are asleep now, and that's what a lot of people are talking about with the awakening process and so on. So to me, the awakening process is basically waking up to your full potential and to what is actually taking place here in the dimension. So there's 3 questions that you got to ask yourself, and that's why I started off the episode with the book that I created. And the book that I wrote is basically for my kids, and it was for them so that they would have a guidebook if I exited, and so they can actually get some kind of information that wasn't out there. It's almost like I siphoned through a lot of stuff and I just condensed it all into one book, and then basically I was giving them a roadmap to say, listen, there's something else going on here, and basically I feel that we're stuck in it, and it's almost like soul wars. They're controlling the soul's incarnation so that you just loop back in, and what they'll try and do is maneuver you within the game board so that you can actually stay within the body-mind meat suit, so that you do not reach your full potential. So they're suppressing the energy below the heart chakra. So a lot of people that I work with, a lot of clients, they have a lot of trauma. It's a lot of stuff around the heart, and so a lot of their energy, it doesn't come up through the first base. It actually stays, and it doesn't even move up past here. It stays stuck, and that's why a lot of people have a lot of heart attacks, a lot of different energy frequencies that are playing around with the core part of the body. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but the incarnation loop for me feels like the most plausible one of what is actually taking place here. So if you have any questions, if I was able to answer most of them within this segment, you can shoot me an email, and I'd like to thank you again for watching another episode of Ask Jason.
Created using Powtoon.